Hi, I'm Veronica, and welcome to Sister Talk TV. Yes, Sister Talk TV. I'm sitting in for Deetra today because she's a little bit under the weather. And so I, along with my co-host, along with my co-host, we will be doing Sister Talk TV for you this week. And we're hearing everything coming to you in live. Thank you. Okay, apologize. Now, you know we're live, so anything can happen, but we got it. I'm going to introduce my co-hosts that will be talking about today's hot topics. Cynthia, tell us something about yourself.
How are you? My name is Cynthia TURNQUEST-JONES. I'm from Mount Vernon, Money Earner, Mount Vernon. A longtime activist and an educator, mother, and just trying to make sure that we continue uplifting our youth in today's America.
Yes, and Tiffany.
Hi, so I'm Tiffany Shorter, GOP strategist. I'm from the Midwest, Chicago. I've been living in New York since 2008. I love talking about anything related to politics of the day, economics, or just what's going on in our communities.
Yes, yes, yes. And we have another co-host who will be joining us soon. So we're going to get started. Hot topics today. Now, you said you want to talk about anything. Today, we are talking what's trending, sex, scandals, Me Too. Let's talk about that. Harvey Weinstein, they exposed him and all of his. Is that, you know what? Let me just go back. Is that what that couch? What do they call it? The casting couch is all about.
Couch, yes.
Is that what this is all about? That
I
now
think
it's starting
a bigger
to
topic. I mean, this has been trending back since the 90s with the Clarence Thomas sexual harassment case. I mean, we've come a long way as women. Putting our voices out there and pointing out this behavior, this traditional behavior that we have been subjected to is no longer going to be tolerated, and that we're going to be heard, and we're going to point these men out and shame them publicly, because the normal channels and the institutions won't listen to us. And it's become a systematic or systemic issue in our society that we need to point out and talk about, and to say, hey, this behavior no longer accepted. Women are in the workplace. We're the bosses now. We're coming up economically, and we need to be respected as equals.
So one of the words that I like that Tiffany used just now was the word traditional. So it's some type of tradition that has been taking place for a very long time. Marilyn Monroe. Okay, many different individuals have experienced being sexually harassed and abused on the job, and there's some sort of scare tactics that's going on that maybe we are unaware of, but we are aware of the scare tactics that are going on. You have women who need to make sure that they provide for their family as well, and they are afraid. So what are we doing here? How is it that is, like Tiffany said, tradition? Year after year, century after century, where this is going on, and for some odd reason, even when said out loud, it's ignored.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But the unfortunate thing is that the women, some seem to tolerate this, like, especially depending on what level you are or where you're at in your career.
I don't think it depends on social economics. You see these actresses, Angelina Jolie, Gwyneth Paltrow, they were also subject to sexual harassment.
But why did they accept it? Why did they tolerate it for that moment and kept it quiet for so long?
Yes, they were at the beginning stages of their careers,
Right.
but they're well-off women. They weren't trying to provide for their families. This, again, is systemic in our society, that this is just something that women have traditionally had to put up with. And the balance of power between the genders are changing, where we are becoming the breadwinners. We are becoming the forefront of organizations, television, where we don't have to accept that. But I mean, this is a changing phenomenon. We're just at the forefront pointing out that this behavior is consistent in our society. It's not new, it's quite old. And hey, as women, we're saying we're going to end this.
I just want to point something out. I was reading, so they started the Me Too movement. However, Me Too movement, that's been around for over 10 years. It was started by our Donna Burke, but what is her name? Alyssa Milano. She decided that, you know, I want everybody to, you know, to do this call to action. I want you all, if you have had some experience, just say me too. So, or just say yes I have, or just let everybody know. So a couple of people that came out, Lady Gaga, Anika Nani Rose, Monica Lewinsky, I don't know, but her name is a part of that as well.
That's an hour-long segment in and of itself.
Right. The thing with I have no problem with Me Too at all. The issue that I have that nothing is being done. So when you look at statistics about children, about girls and boys, they have the statistics about girls being sexually molested at a very high percentage, right? And then they have boys being beat up.
Yeah.
And so, but that statistics in regards to girls being sexually molested and sexually harassed, it's never changed, right? So we could say Me Too, and I love it, and I'm a champion for that. But when is going to just stop? How are we going to go about stopping the Me Too, right? When is it going to be respected? When an individual points out an individual and that individual is no longer accepted in society, can no longer receive a paycheck, can no longer get a job. When is that part going to take place? Because if you look at, I was working at a school, and at this particular school, there was an individual who was brought up on sexual harassment charges. That person, because that person pleaded guilty, that person was allowed to keep the teaching license, but had to go on the sexual predators list. No,
Wow.
It should have been both, right?
No, he shouldn't have kept
Or
his,
everything.
Right.
Everything should be gone. And so this is a web. This is a web that has been woven to a part where there are individuals who are highly protected, and they continually be protected, and you knowing, and I know some of those actresses are looking at the younger actresses saying, I know exactly what she's going through. Yeah, so enough is enough.
Yeah, legislatively, maybe there should be rules or laws that say not, if you do this, you know, you lose your job, you lose your pensions, you lose everything. Unfortunately, that is not the case, but this is also a silent crime, if you will.
A lot of
people are afraid to come forward and say anything.
Practically speaking, who wants to be on the internet saying, yeah, I've been sexually harassed?
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, that's embarrassing.
But also, if anything happens, like if I tell, you know, what will happen to this person? The person was able to keep his job, and then they go somewhere else.
You get blackballed. You're unable to work anymore. Nobody wants to hire you. So many different things happen, especially to the woman.
Yes.
Especially to the female, where there's so many things that occurs and happens where I guess that this is the reason why this person is being silent. But we have to stop that silent and put a stop to the madness.
Let me pause for one moment. I just want to bring in Kim LaRue, who has just joined us. Tell us about yourself, Kim.
First, I want to apologize for my
No
lateness.
worry. There's a parade going on outside.
There's a lot going on outside,
Yes.
more than a parade. But I'm glad to be here. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
How you doing? I'm just going to jump right in there. We talking about the sexual harassment, the Weinstein, all this stuff. One of the things we have to do is educate our children. As we know that this goes on, people are coming forth every day, one by one. So we have to educate our daughters and our sons about these predators out there in the world and prepare them for when a situation does arise, because #MeToo, meaning that I was sexually harassed by a producer.
Yes.
Not a well-known one, but he was a producer. He was in a position of power. I got the role. I was grateful. He told me to come down to get the script. I came down. He gave me a hug. I'm a loving person. Everyone who knows me knows I'm a hugger. So I hugged him. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy. But when he hugged me, he cupped my buttocks.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was just him and I in the room. Me being who I am, raised with brothers and fathers, and I wasn't shocked, but I was shocked. But it came like, you have your hand on, excuse my French, my ass? That was my reaction. And he jumped back, and I said, well, what is that about? That's just my personality.
Yeah.
I confronted him immediately. Yeah. And I said, well, what's wrong with you? Well, why would you do that? And he was very apologetic. That was the end of it. I went on to do the role. I got paid. It was my first acting gig, and I never mentioned it again. It was like, because I checked him. But what I do regret, I honestly have to say, is that I did not report him. Because what about the sister who did not or does not have the strength that I had that day? Because if he was so easy to do that with me, this is something that he does on a regular, obviously. Because he was very comfortable with it.
Kim, you brought up a really good point about education. What I would like to see and what we need is the men and fathers educating their sons. This is how you treat a woman. This behavior, not acceptable. Because somewhere down the line, no one's pointing it out. Like, boys are being raised, some of them at least, to think this is okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and we're going to talk about our dear president, because somewhere along the line in his world, it was okay. It was a conversation that they had, just grab them by the, so it's just crazy. But I just would, just statistically, because she just mentioned about this whole Me Too, and I would really be curious to see how many women have had experiences, and, our phones are live, so you can call in, and if you're willing to share this with us, we would certainly love to hear it. But there was about 825,000 Twitter responses, and then on Facebook, within 24 hours, it was 4.7 million people around the world that engaged in that conversation. I think it's bigger than that, because, like I said, it's a silent.
That was just one day.
Yes, yes.
This is an epidemic.
Yes.
It's an epidemic.
It's an epidemic.
Yes.
It has to be addressed
Yes.
immediately, and I believe it starts very young in the home.
Yes.
But is it a part of our
Yes.
society?
Absolutely.
Is this how we're socialized?
Yes, it
That
is.
macho man,
Great
I got,
culture.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
sorry, I get so, because this is
No,
all-
but it's okay, it's okay.
That I am so grateful that everyone is coming out, people, because this needs to be talked about.
Right.
It's part of a culture. It's a rape culture. If you listen to a lot of these Hollywood people, they are so aware. They were so aware that this went on. The stories go on and on and on and on. So I think it starts with us understanding, educating ourselves what is rape culture, because I understand a lot of people don't understand what that is.
Yeah.
So we have to start by educating ourselves what that is, and from then we will be better able to address these issues.
You know what's interesting? When we were upstairs waiting to come downstairs, Veronica and I were talking, and I said to her, as an educator, this is my 21st year going into education,
Congratulations.
and I told her that that there isn't anything in this system right now for our girls.
Yes.
What do you mean?
In particular, where topics like this is brought up, where they are infused and championed to be outspoken. It's not there. We may have gotten it, right? But that's just like the carrot on the stick. It's not embedded in the curriculum. It's not embedded into the culture and the climate of the school, right? And so it's so traditional for things like this to happen that when it happens, it's all pushed under the rug real quick. Let's make sure that she gets out the way, and it's not addressed.
So do you
Can I
suggest
be
that we
devil's
have
advocate and say that maybe women are overreacting? Maybe there's, out of those 800,000 is the Twitter followings, not to say that I'm agreeing with them, being devil's advocate, because we have to also see it from the proponent's viewpoint. Maybe there's just a man who is really attracted to a woman and doesn't know how to articulate that properly. Maybe it's just some in-office romance.
But if you're in a
How many
position of power, then that changes the game, because here it is. You're in a position of power to make or break me, to give me something that I need. So
Right,
know,
but
that's different.
but that's what I'm saying. That's also, that side needs to be pointed out. Where's the fine line between romantic feelings, dating in the office, and saying, no, you cannot use your position of power to coerce me into a sexual relationship?
So then
Well,
that
can I say
education
something?
part,
Yes.
that education part that you talked about need to be expounded upon and need to be put in the regulations at the job. And maybe when you go in for your orientation, that is discussed.
Yes. Yes.
So I've never had that. Have you?
Yes.
I've never had that, the
I've had
policy on office romance.
Me
no,
too.
I've never had a policy. I've never had a policy on office romance, but I was approached by a man constantly at work, and it was inappropriate. After
Did he
a while,
like you, or he was just really
I
trying
really didn't care if he didn't like.
You didn't
if he liked
matter.
me.
Right,
But
because you
I don't-
felt
I don't-
uncomfortable, and that's what it is
You kept-
about.
Yeah.
He kept coming up to me constantly. See me, I'm, I guess a little, got the ghetto, and I went and got some.
There ain't nothing wrong with a little ghetto.
I went and got my friends that I was in college with. We graduated and we all worked in the same company together. And I went and told them. And those men approached him and was like,
Oh,
stop
wow.
the foolery.
Nice.
Stop
Right.
the foolishness. I
Exactly.
don't think that what is happening with the men, the way that they're addressing the women, it's not the women to address the men, it's the men to address the men. Because you just said the men need to teach the boys. So it's the
Exactly.
men who have to step up to the plate and address these men on the way that they are conducting themselves and making women feel uncomfortable.
Let's hold that for a minute, because I think the women also too need to
Absolutely.
check
It takes a
themselves, right?
it takes a village.
I'm thinking about Little Kim's rap song. I don't know. She
Okay,
said-
which one?
But anyway, we got a call. No, don't let me forget that. We got a call. Caller, are you on the line? Hi, caller, are you there?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Samuel Jackson. We never talk about back during slavery when the man was raped in front of the woman and was pedophiled in front of the woman, and the woman was raped in front of the man.
Yes.
And so it goes on today. And
Yes.
that's why the man, you see the man walking down the street holding his genitals. You know? And you women, let that happen. Now, when you get out of line, then you got something to say, but you already said them back then, and it goes on and on and on.
Well, let's think
talk
about it, because
what
I want to
happened
stop
during
you right
slavery,
there,
and
because
it still
back
goes
then
on
during
today.
slavery, can I just say something? Back then during slavery, I also think it was the men, our black men, that did not protect us when we were being raped by that white man. So what are you saying? The atrocities
That's
that
what,
the
that's what I, that,
That's
what I'm-
no, because you said the women. You had
Exactly.
added and said the women. Didn't, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So I think it's unfortunate, but you're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And
it
so,
has both ways. Both
like
ways.
Tiffany said,
Exactly.
traditionally this has been going on for so long, but somewhere along the line has to be some legislation to stop it and put things back into perspective. But we have
think
to
it's-
stand up.
I think.
Yes. Thank you, caller.
Thank you, caller, for calling in. But I think that one of the things that he missed was the what happens. So what happens is, so you have this individual. It's like a slavery type of thing. It is slavery. You have this person who was advanced the incorrect way, and this person spoke up. Boom, that person is put out, and so that person is marked in front of everyone, hung in front of everyone, head cut off and put on the mile mark in front of everyone to say, if you speak out, this is going to happen to you.
Fear.
Right. It's fear.
Power.
Right.
Control.
Yeah.
Right. I agree it is fear. But at this point, I was listening to the caller and what he was saying and everything. We have to get past the blame game. We have to get past it, because we're not going to get nowhere if we stay there.
No, but how far would you go back? Because
I
as
don't
far as
wanna
I'm
go that
concerned,
far. I
and we
wanna
talked
start
about
with
this
today.
earlier. No,
Okay.
but if something happened to me 10 years ago, I'm
Okay.
never going to forget. So I'm
Absolutely
going to bring
not.
it up just like they brought it up in Alabama. I'm going to bring it up.
Absolutely.
We had mentioned that too.
Bring it up.
Is that a blame?
Well, when you start saying, starting with the caller, based on what he said, because the women
Yes,
this and
yes.
back here, that,
Yes,
that's why I'm
yes,
basing
yes,
it from
yes,
that.
yes,
and then
yes.
you responded to it. That's what I'm basing it on. So
Yes.
that's how the blame game begins. You understand what I'm saying?
Whose fault
so,
is it?
Right. Whose
Yeah,
fault
yeah,
is it? That's
yeah.
what I mean in
We're
that
all
sense.
responsible.
Absolutely. And we
Yes.
should all at this point take responsibility to correcting these issues. Right now, this major issue is going on in Hollywood.
Yes.
Right?
Been going
on in Hollywood. You know, now everyone is coming out. Maury Povich, y'all know who Maury Povich is. He gave a story about back in the day. This is normal. This is what happens. This is
Like
a
it was
culture.
okay?
It happens. Everybody knows about it.
Right,
So
right.
This is once again. It's rape culture.
Yes.
If this caller was educated on what rape culture was, he wouldn't even call with that.
Mm-hmm.
If we will all get a little educated on rape culture, we will get past this conversation
Yeah.
of what happened back in slavery, and there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. I love history. Everyone knows that, but we got to begin getting past
Maybe we
that.
should
But
vet the
protect the
calls.
black woman. But how far should we go back? Because we mentioned that, we were talking about that earlier. How far is it legal, or should, you know, I mean, how far
there's
can we go
always
back
been an
to
imbalance
blame
between
someone?
men and women in society outside of even when this country was established. So, like I said, this is a new phenomenon. You couldn't go back hundreds of years and see women saying, hey, I've been sexually harassed. I have had sexual advancements towards me that was unwanted. This is quite new, and it's going to take time.
I disagree with that, this being quite new. I think social media and stuff is making it more, you know, making us more aware of it, but is being new? Absolutely not.
Because some of these women are going back like 20 years or whatever, but they
Yes.
don't have enough
Not at this momentum, like you said, because of the social
Right.
media.
And so, okay,
it
so
hasn't
like,
been loud.
What I hear Tiffany saying, I hear it. I hear that, you know, because of social media, things are out loud. But that part about you telling an individual that you were sexually molested, that's a mark on you, right? And
Yes.
so women were afraid because of the number right now that are coming out. Now the torch of courage is now being passed. Something at an alarming rate, because I read before I got here. Before I got here, and the list kept going on and on and on and on and on and on. And you had some of the individuals that said, I apologize for what I did. My actions were inappropriate back in the days. Right? And the list goes on and on. The faces kept coming up, and I was like, holy Toledo. This is interesting.
It's crazy.
Of course, they had brother R. Kelly on the list. R. Kelly been on the list, right? He's been on the
created
list.
that
We're accepting this rape culture.
When?
All right, well, you know when I say we, I know not you.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm
R.
saying.
Kelly been on the list, and when I was telling individuals he was going to perform at the Westchester County Center in Westchester a couple of months ago, individuals like, oh, well, you already knew that he was doing this long time ago. I don't know why you guys are upset. That's wrong.
I used to love his songs,
That
and
is
then I
wrong.
realized he wasn't singing
Right.
to grown me.
He was singing to little girls.
Like you're ready is definitely not. I've been ready. No, but anyway, we got two calls. We got two calls on the line. Hello, caller.
Hi, yes.
Yes. Hi. How are you? Comment or
Hi,
question?
I'm good. How are you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm actually a young teenager, and I just want to speak on sexual assault happening in this generation. And I think it's very, very important for the teenagers to come out and actually speak to their parents about it and not just sweep it under the rug.
Yes.
I was actually sexually assaulted at my job, and the guy just brushed across me and touched my butt. And as soon as it happened, I came home and told my parents, and they did what they had to do. And I just think it's very important to come home whenever it happens to tell your parents not to just, oh, it's okay, and brush it under the rug, because it's not okay, and you need to do something about it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
That's
exactly
right.
what
That's
Tiffany was
wonderful.
talking about.
Commend
Yeah.
her.
Absolutely, and
She
you know,
commended.
she probably knew to do that because her parents probably educated
That's
her
the conversation.
on that. So it's definitely a conversation. Absolutely.
Let's take the second call. Thank you, caller, for that. Sharing with us.
Hi.
Yes.
You're coming in real low, but you can hear me, right?
Yes,
Yes,
we can
I
hear
hear
you.
you.
Sorry
Okay, I
about that.
want your advice. I need some advice. Congressman SBI, you know who he is? The one
Yes.
that took Charlie Rangel's place. Congressman SBI, I forget his first name. So one of his campaign managers, you know, he used to work the neighborhood and talk to me, and, you know, I voted for him. I said, okay, I'll vote for him. So one day I'm in the state office building, and I run into him, and I'm like, oh, there's Congressman SBI. how you doing, Congressman? And all of a sudden, would you take a picture with me? I have the picture on my phone. And so when we went to go to the corner, he didn't touch my, but the way he rubbed my back, and it was so, it's shocking.
You felt uncomfortable.
Some women, you know, you got some sisters out there, they will smack you in your mouth. But a lot of us don't have that energy. So when he was assaulting me, because basically that's what it was, the way he was stroking my back was filthy. And the fact that me personally, I'm the type of person, I never had to fight anybody. In elementary school, they took care of me. My friends took me to the store and brought me candy. I never had to fight anybody. So I don't have that energy to whoop somebody's ass when they attack me, excuse the French. And so I think we need to talk to our kids, because we're being assaulted, and it's subtle. And when it happened, when SISTAH assaulted me, it was so subtle, but it was so filthy that I never forgot it.
They're honoring the elders, they're eating, they're enjoying the food, and I am having so much fun. I know you're on the show, but once again, how do you feel about being the Grand Marshal of the parade?
I'm grateful, proud of us that we're lifting up wellness, healing, so it's magnificent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
There she is. This is your parade, baby. Looking good.
We are here in South. How you doing? Once again, I told you you're the one, right? On the show.
We are the one. This is our parade, and we want to make this one of the best parades in America.
Okay.
We really are truly all our supporters, from our Grand Marshal to our Marshal and our honorary guests. What a beautiful day.
All right. Thank you. Hi, Reverend Al Sharpton. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Okay, you make it here every year, don't you?
Every year. This is a great day. It's a day I look forward to. What these brothers and sisters that started this day 49 years ago have done is give us a chance to celebrate ourselves. And I remember watching Adam Clayton Powell when I was a kid, riding the back of a Cadillac down this parade. And I'm grateful to be walking with Reverend Jackson today as we continue to struggle and continue to embrace and celebrate our people.
New York only has voted one day a year, on Tuesday. We, in fact, should be fighting for automatic, because we have Illinois. That'd be a big deal for us.
Reverend Jackson, how do you feel? Okay.
Come on, teacher.
Well, all right, thank you. It's an honor talking to you. It really is. Well, you are the trailblazer. I want to say that you're a trailblazer for Barack Obama, all these other people that are following in your footsteps. Bye-bye. American Day Parade 2017. Standing beside me is Dr. Venus Wilder. Hi, Dr. Wilder. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
How do you like being the Grand Marshal of the African American Day Parade? One of the Grand Marshals.
Yes, I'm one of the Grand Marshals, and it is an honor to be here to celebrate Black excellence and also to celebrate improving the health of our community and prioritizing it as something that is worth talking about.
You know, she was on SISTAH TV show, and when you all look at that video again, we will show it again, you can see the sincerity as you see now. So what do you have organizations that you are part of? Tell us about that.
So I'm a part of two organizations. One is Harlem Docs. It's a group of health professionals in the area that either live, work, or love Harlem. And so I formed that group about 2 years ago with dentists, doctors, etc. in the area. And then also I represent the City Doc. The City Doc is my own brand. You can go to thecitydoc.com. It has lots of great information about illnesses, disease that affect our community disproportionately. And the goal is that we prevent disease and manage disease that is there.
So how do you feel about being the Grand Marshal of the African American Day Parade?
This is a huge honor. It's a huge honor to be considered and humbled. I'm here representing the Manhattan Central Medical Society, which is a local chapter of the National Medical Association. The NMA is the largest organization of African American physicians in the United States. We have 6 regions representing hundreds of chapters, taking care of thousands of patients. We represent 1,000 Black doctors right here in Manhattan, and we're so proud and thankful to be here. We're here to advocate for health for all, health insurance for all, making sure women get their preventative health care, men get their preventative health care, and kids. We're here to take care of you. We're the ones that are taking care of the underserved, and we're here to take care of you and make sure that you're stay healthy.
Okay, so how do you feel about being one of the Grand Marshals here?
What an honor it really is to be here in Harlem, where I work, where I live nearby. nearby and to help promote wellness as part of my institution at Turner College.
Okay, you said a disease that I couldn't say that everybody has. What is it again?
Well, I said that I deal with generalized anxiety, being nervous. I deal with hypochondriasis, which is an unreasonable fear of getting contaminated. And, you know, and I have other things that I deal with. But the reason I talk about it is if I'm able to admit to having mental health issues, everyone also should do the same.
Hey! Watch out, guys. Bill!
How do you feel about being one of the grand marshals here?
I am so honored, beyond belief, to be here. One of my mentors is Dr. Harold Freeman, who was chair of surgery at Harlem Hospital for many years, and I trained at Harlem Hospital, and it's just so incredible for me to be here today. And I really have an important message for all the Black women out there about cervical and uterine cancer, which is that you are at higher risk and you're more likely not to do well, but you can do something about it, right? The first thing is that you should get your children vaccinated with the HPV vaccine because that prevents them from ever getting cervical cancer and other types of cancers. And that vaccine is for girls and boys, so it's really important. And then the other thing is if you have any type of abnormal bleeding, no matter how old you are, you need to ask your doctor about whether you could have uterine cancer because uterine cancer is much more common in Black women and it's also very treatable.
How do you get HPV?
So HPV is a sexually transmitted infection. It's not a sexually transmitted disease, but it shouldn't have any stigma around it because it's as common as the common cold. It's cervical cancer, however, is not that common, and Black women are at higher risk for that.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Brown. How does it feel to replace Charlie Ray?
Oh, it's a great honor and a privilege and a great challenge as well because he did so much for Harlem as well as the late great Adam Powell. I hope to work with Bill Perkins, with Al Taylor, with the Ines Dickens, with the new Senator, Brian Benjamin, to make sure that we get the resources and the attention that this neighborhood deserves.
Okay, thank you so much.
I had a tremendous victory as the district leader for this area. I can't tell you how pleased I am. I love the job that I do. I'm happy to serve. I also ran for another seat, which is city council. I didn't make it, but we are still winners. We led a tremendous campaign. It was exciting, and we'll be back.
So what's the next item on the list?
Well, I want to continue serving. I can't wait to do some of the good things that we do every day. Fight for better housing for our community, fight against the privatization of public housing, fight to improve our public schools, create employment, all these things. We'd love to get that done.
Yeah, you're a force in the community. Thank you so much.
Hey, wow, that was powerful right there. And we are back. I'm Veronica, and I'm sitting here with my three co-hosts, Sister Talk TV. Our dear Deetra, she's a bit under the weather, so we are filling in, and the topic is getting kind of hot. We just had someone expose one of our politicians. Should I say the name again? But anyway, and then we just saw Cordell Clear. She's an amazing, amazing woman. I mean, she's so powerful, and I love going to her events. And big up to you, Cordell. Hopefully, she'll be able to do it again the next time around. But conversation, we've been talking about this whole sex scandal and
sexual harassment, rape culture, all of that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just so unfortunate that it exists in our culture, if you will. We're live, so if you would like to call in and chime in, and if you have anything to share with us, please do so. 212-757-1393. I'm Veronica, and so let's just dig back in because I want to move forward, even though I don't think we finished. But I have to move forward because I have, I got some big shoes to fill. There's a book that just came out called Hacks. It's by Donna Brazille. One of the interesting things about Donna, she was the Democratic National Committee chair. She was also...
Well, she was the interim chair.
Interim. Exactly. That's important. Right. And she was Gore's campaign manager. In her book, she too experienced sexism. And I have to read it with Hillary Clinton's top males. And I have to say it exactly the way she said it. And please excuse me if anybody's offended by it. But by her top male aides, and that prompted her to say, tell them, okay, okay, to put their dicks on the table and see who got the bigger one. Because I know mine's is bigger than all of yours.
Wait, she said this?
Yes, that's what she said in her book.
She said that they said this.
She said it to them. She was experiencing this male. She was experiencing
start again.
Right. So here, Hillary's top, Hillary Clinton's top male aides.
Right.
You know, I guess they were, you know, doing that whole male. I don't know.
Right. I don't know either.
Right. But what she told them is that she said,
Put your dick on the table.
That's right.
That's
and
right.
let's see who got the biggest one. Because I know y'all have one bigger. Mine is bigger than yours.
Right. That is very interesting. Donna is something else. I have to be honest. I'm glad to see her speaking, coming out more of her personality being shown. I know she's probably getting ready to run for president. I wouldn't be surprised. Absolutely. But I thought that was interesting. I'm looking forward to getting the book and reading the book. I haven't gotten it yet, but she was on some show and she mentioned there was some sexism going on in Hillary's camp, and they asked her like what was going on, and she said, you know, a particular man was condescending, disconcerting. You know, these were the words that she was using. I personally don't know how that attached to sexism, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, I have not read the book. These were her answers when they were saying, you know, well, what were they doing? And she's like, you know, well, they were being condescending, and you know, he could.
But that's a powerful position.
I agree.
She's a black woman and operating in a
absolutely.
male-dominated arena. So I can imagine them coming at her.
I could totally, but I've been following Donna for a little bit, and like she's a woman that can hold her own, and she has been.
Yes.
You know, so I thought that was a powerful question when someone asked her about the sexism going on in Hillary's camp, and she came up with them being a little bit condescending. You know, for Donna Brazille. That's all I'm saying.
Donna, are we ready for the clip? Just let me know, and then we can roll to the clip. But yeah, but what do you think about that? Here it is, hacks. I mean, basically what she's saying is that, well, initially she said the Democratic Party, you know, it was fixed. Bernie was definitely out based on that. There was money supposedly that
Democrats should be upset. I mean, if you just look at how many Democrats really rallied for Bernie versus Hillary, I mean, that was obviously some internal bias.
The scandal was supposedly the Democratic Party owed some money. Hillary Clinton's camp said, we'll pay it off. But then I think later on, it was a CNN, I think she was on there, and she said, no, that wasn't the truth. Not sure, I don't know. But supposedly, this book tells how Trump basically was pushed into office based on all of the conspiracy and things behind that whole election. The whole election
I mean,
was
you brought
nasty.
up some good points. I want to go back to the sexism. And not every woman in America or in the world has experienced sexual harassment, thank God. But I think any woman in a position has experienced gender discrimination. Every woman. You cannot move up the corporate ladder, or even if you're a mom and pop shop, and notice how men are treated differently from women. And I applaud her for pointing that out, because it's in our political circles, this is in our private sector circles, public sector circles. I know I've experienced it as I've moved up in my career, where I'm being in charge of men or having to train them, and I see how some people can't cope. Some people are not used to it. Some people are not used to having to take orders from a woman versus a man.
But is it sex or race or both? Especially from a black woman.
I can say from my experience, I've experienced more gender prejudice than racial. Just because of the nature of my career. I'm the only woman on my team. I work with majority of men for a number of years, and I've had to learn how to balance it. That's me.
And what do you say? How do you do that? What do you say when the men come?
I pointed out that's the only way you can deal with it, and some people accept it and some people don't. But my number one weapon is excellence. If you make sure you are exceeding expectations, no one can cut you down. If every time they try to undermine you, go over your head, find something wrong, and your ducks are in a row, and you have a reputation of giving and providing superior performance, your reputation is already established.
Right.
That's in your sector. That doesn't work for the education sector.
Well, tell us, how does it work?
You can have
I mean,
your
that's a
ducks all in
majority of women.
Because in the education sector, they operate on nepotism and cronyism.
Really?
Tough, very hard.
Are you in the public school or private?
New York City Department of Education.
Wow.
Okay.
They operate heavily on cronyism and nepotism.
Wow.
If there's an individual who is in place, you've seen it many times, you've seen a leader in place and everything is going well, and they will remove that leader and put another individual in there, and there's always question as to, so what did this person do that was so grand to take the seat of someone else who was who was already doing something great? And then when the person is put in place, they are put in place and they have nothing to offer.
Well, isn't that the phenomenon that Donna Brazille was trying to uncover in Hacks? Like some people are pushed to the forefront unfairly versus someone who's more deserving.
Yes.
The interesting thing is that it kind of like outlines how Trump got into office, you know, with this whole Russian scandal thing, if you will. What are your thoughts on that? Because you're, of course, a Trump.
But anyone who watches Sister Talk, I was on the fence about Trump. I'm like, I'm going to support him because he's the president. But coming closer to the election, I did say he was going to win 1, 2, but he is not my top choice. He's done some good things. He's done some not so good things. However, I stand by our American democracy. Was there some things that was wrong with this election? Yes. Do I think our democracy, our election was compromised by the Russians? No. Who voted? Who was in the voting ballots? It was Americans. Now, if they took news from Facebook, if that was their main source of news, that's on them. Maybe they should think
to sway public opinion.
Right. Well, maybe I should read a newspaper.
Well, Mueller's investigation would say otherwise. They have came down with some indictments, and they believe that the Russians had something to do with tampering up. They do have indictments. It is sealed.
Yes, they have indictments of influence, but not tampering with votes.
No, they didn't have to tamper with votes. He got the 2 million. Hillary got the popular vote, 2 million. But guess what? The Electoral College.
But that's a function of our democracy, having access to the presidential candidate and tampering with the election.
Cynthia,
Two different subjects.
So I think that America, which they do very well, often try to camouflage what is going on, right? And so to blame somebody else has always been in their forefront. So you want to blame Russia that Russia did something? Nah, man.
Trump told you right off the bat. He said this whole thing is rigged.
Right. So he said
he said it, right? He said it was rigged. It's like, I'm getting over.
But we already know that, you know, the way that it works. We know how America is. We know that beast, right? So I doubt that Russia had anything to do with it. I know that America had all to do with it.
Well, America
I agree. America's mad about their electoral process. America needs to fix it and not just say, oh, the Russians did it. How weak do we look? Say, oh, the Russians, they took the election away from us. That's not making America great again.
No. But you know what? He's backtracking. He's over there now in China, and basically he was saying, it's not your fault that you basically raped us, the workers of America.
But
he's backtracking, and it's just, what about this thing? That's embarrassing, actually, I think.
No, absolutely not. We have to protect our own interests. China is going to protect China. America has to protect America. Now, if we have a $310 billion trade deficit with China.
Right.
Whose fault is that? It's our fault.
It is our fault.
We agreed to terms.
But look, he says, I don't blame China. After all, who can blame a country for taking advantage of another country for the benefit?
That's right.
But
it's our leaders. Why don't we put it back on our leaders?
I just got to go deeper than that. I don't like anybody that.
play fair. That's
Right.
our president's job.
But
to
that's
make sure
dirty. I don't like
That's not
anybody
dirty,
that takes
that's the real
advantage of
world.
anybody, and he's saying that it's okay.
It's the real
Our president, even though, just like he's saying it's okay to go ahead and grab a woman, and now we have this whole we have this
It's the
whole
real
sexism
world.
scandal and everything, and we made him president. This man is no different
Because
from
he's saying that
when
it's
it comes
America.
down to the whole
America
sexual
needs
thing.
to take
I'm
responsibility
gonna grab
for
this woman
American
by her
policy. You can't mix between sexual harassment and the trade
Why
policy.
not? He's a leader of the free world.
No, we got to stick to one topic at a time.
Okay, if we're talking about
I
role
don't
model,
care
how
who-
can I look up to somebody like
I
that
don't
that
care
has this
if
whole
Mickey
male
Mouse was
macho? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and grab this woman when I want
you're
to.
just
We
trying
can
to
do whatever it
justify
is that
one
we can
thing
do.
with another. You're going
But no,
outside
but this is
scope.
what
The
he
scope is
said.
talking about
No,
trade
he's
policy.
saying that.
And you
He
see,
said,
you
I don't
know
blame another
Obama and
country
past
for the
administrations
benefit. He
are
says, I don't
wrong.
blame another
They are
country
wrong.
for the
We
benefit of its
are
citizens.
at a disadvantage, and you can't deny that. And that hasn't happened with Trump being on watch. That has happened with Obama, and I blame every president where we
He did
don't
say
have
that it was a pass, for what happened. Right.
Like I said again, before we go to the caller that's online, America should start owning up to what America has done.
Absolutely. And
We're
one
the
quick thing
superpower.
when the caller comes finished, can we go back to Donna Brazille? I don't think we gave her her justice. I
Yes.
want to speak a little bit more about that sister because
Okay.
she's doing wonderful things.
Okay, so we're going to do that.
Thank you.
We have a caller on the line. Caller. Hi, welcome to Sister Talk TV.
Yeah, y'all
Hi.
keep talking about that we and make America great again. When they say make America great again, they're not talking about you. They want to keep you in slavery. That's what that is. To bring you back in slavery. And they take the young lady with the red on. I don't know what she's coming about. We this and this. We're not we this and this or nothing. You're talking about Europe. And what do you say about the blacks? What do you say about the Africans? Who talk for us? You keep talking about some we stuff.
Thank you, caller. Woo. That was for you.
Express yourself. I love it. Because we're all Americans, regardless of historical wrongs doing to our community, we're still Black Americans. So when we talk about trade, it is us. It affects you, me, and the white neighbor down the street.
But
so we
what is
cannot
the
make
great
this
part?
into the great part. The great part is for decades, we've been the superpower as a country, regardless of our problems. We can solve our own problems. Discrimination is different. But when Trump talks about making America great again, it's about having equality, trade equality, economic equality, and military influence over the world.
He's not talking about racism.
He's not talking about Jim Crow laws. He's not talking, okay.
Okay. No.
I don't know. It doesn't have to be Jim Crows, but what's going on with DACA?
No, but
Look
he's
at the
right,
Nicaraguans.
Right.
They just kicked out.
He's not talking about that at all.
And
so
it's
we're not, like the
unfair.
man said, we're not even equated inside of what he's talking about.
He's not talking about Jim Crow. But look what happened with DACA. I mean, they're in question. Their lives is in question in terms of pushing the immigrants back home. The Nicaraguans, they have 14 months to get out of the country. So we're looking at policies that are
out of this country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That is focused
think
on
that's a
race.
good thing or a bad thing?
And so it's not looking at individual. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk over people.
Go.
Because I don't want to get another
No,
shouting
neither
match.
do I. Go.
We're not having a shouting match.
No, I said I don't want to talk over.
No, go ahead. Thank you. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Immigration. I may not agree with all of the immigration policies we have in place. I was a supporter of Bush's policy of giving amnesty. However, if you want to go back to the basic government responsibilities for any country, it's about looking after their own citizens. Not to say that I believe in deporting anyone unjustly. I don't believe in when towns like Iowa, where people have been illegally arrested because they're Latino, they're assumed to be legal, is what makes America great again. No, absolutely not. We do need to revisit our immigration policy. And point one is we got to stop allowing politicians, any politicians, to make that excuse and a distraction from what's going on in the country. Immigrants are not a problem. We don't have, I mean, there are bad people who get into the country, yes. But is that the #1 problem in America? Is that a great distraction from not talking about our economic issues, not talking about the trade imbalances, not talking about our messed up education system? Oh, yes.
Gotcha. That's good. So talk to your boy, Agent Orange 45. Tell him stop doing it.
Well, and we're talking about America, and today is Veterans Day. And I just want to, we have a call on the line?
Give a shout out.
Hi. Hello?
No, I think that's her mic.
Hello.
Yes, hi, caller.
Not this guy again.
Yes. Yes.
Good, thank you. I have a question for the lady in red.
Lady in red. Lady in
red. Regarding President 45. Please, this president is claimed to be so big on patriot. I have a problem pronouncing the word patriotism, and he's now in a foreign country denying everything that the military told him that Russia has some involvement in. So how could he answer a question like that? He's in a foreign country defending a president of Russia, say he believes him over his own intelligent, veteran military personnel.
Thank you.
That's a very good question. If you just look at the news story superficially, that does look like what he's saying. But however, the intelligence hasn't come out with conclusive evidence. There's people in the intelligence department who's not in favor of the intelligence that Russia is bringing. And again, too, and I agree with President Trump, I still say that they did not compromise the actual election. Influence, coming out with stories, have been going on from not just this election after election. There was a lot of foreign interest into making sure President Bush did not get reelected in 2004. That's nothing new, but to say that and to go as far as saying that our electoral system for the president of this United States was dictated by Russia, that's a far, far stretch.
And it's sad, too, if that is the case. We're in trouble.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see. There's some investigation going on.
Exactly.
With some indictments.
Exactly.
Even if they're
It's
proven
closed,
to
it's
be,
sealed.
even if someone's found guilty, that's not to indicate that our democracy, that Trump is an illegitimate president.
Right.
It says that, yes, people had access to him that should have not have access to him. That's different from the actual what happened in the ballots.
We don't know. We'll see. There's an investigation going on.
But my question is, why is it wrong for Harvey Weinstein when we know Trump did the same thing?
I think that
with Miss America, the pageants and stuff, the young girls that said he kissed
I
them
don't think anyone's saying that. I don't even think Trump has said what he did was right. I believe he apologized on national television.
Yeah. And then here he is, our president.
Well, people voted for him. People decided to forgive him. That's a democracy.
Question, and this is kind of like moving from, but why did you? What was it about him? I used to love his show, The Apprentice, but that's not why. I'm a Democrat, but why did you?
Unfortunately.
But why did you vote for Trump?
I didn't have another choice.
Gotcha.
I can't vote for Hillary. If anyone looks at her track record, what she did as Secretary of State, who really looks at the favoritism and how she used her office to support her own interests through the Clinton Foundation, I can't trust her.
So I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton either. And I didn't vote for Agent Orange 45. I voted for Jill Stein. Because I cannot vote for Hillary Clinton either. I am not doing the lesser of two evil thing. Either I'm going to vote for somebody or I'm not going to do the evil thing.
Wow.
So I don't believe in the way that the current president of the United States conducts himself. And I don't think that he is equipped for the position. However, yes, the people did vote for him. So that's the one understanding that individuals have to understand and come to grips with. You have to understand that individuals voted for this person. And so now look at that. Look at individuals who voted for him. Some individuals do not act like him who voted for him. As the person that's sitting next to us right here, right? And and I couldn't vote for Hillary Clinton because of her background, long background of shenanigans and foolery.
I have a question real quick. I want to ask you, do you regret voting for him?
No, absolutely not. I would regret it if Hillary Clinton was in office. I think the country would be far worse off.
Well, that's a speculation because she's...
Of course.
Because to me, I think the country is worse off right now. Let's see you know what I'm saying?
It's an assumption based on it didn't happen, but evidence has proven that she uses her influence in an unethical manner that I don't agree with. So yes, I'm glad that President Trump is in office given the two choices that I had. If the DNC had his act together, maybe they could have had Bernie Sanders and maybe half of the country would have been happier with Bernie Sanders. I wouldn't because he's even a worse choice to me than Hillary Clinton.
Not for nothing, and this is what Donna is saying. That's why she wrote the book, and that's why she's coming out with it. They are, according to her, a close-knit family, and she wants to heal. That's why she wrote the book. So you are right. This is how Trump got in. Because the Democratic Party is a hot mess, as she said it. Donna said a hot mess, and she wants to tell her story. She wants to tell so that the party can begin to heal and rebuild.
Yes. We got 2 calls.
All right.
2 more calls on the line. Hello, caller. Welcome to Sister Court. Talk. Hello.
We have
we got 2 minutes. Oh my goodness. You know what?
We didn't even get a chance to
We
talk
didn't
about
finish.
that.
But you know what? This is so great.
I wanted to give a shout out to my son.
Please. I want
my
everybody.
son is in the Army, so I want to give a shout out to my private sugar mom.
Yes, happy Veterans Day.
He's making a year now. He's making a year. And I spoke to him. That's who I spoke to.
Oh, that is amazing.
And I just want to say, Dimitri, I hope you feel better in your recovery and you come back soon. And I love every single person sitting at this table.
Yes. Tiffany.
I want to wish everyone a happy Veterans Day. Thank you to the veterans. They're the real people who make America great. They protect us. They put their lives out on the line. And I hope under the Trump administration that we do a better job by them. They're ignored far too much and far too long.
Yes. And yes.
Hi, everybody. Again, my name is Kim LaRue. I am the co-founder and owner of Medicine Women Productions. I am also the host of the Everyday Superwoman Show. It's an online talk show. Thank you, ladies. I love this. Is how it starts. The conversation begins here. And real quick, we get to talk about parenting in a social media age. We got to teach our children how to live in an online world.
Thank you. Hey, you know what? The conversation continues. It begins here at Sister Talk. I hope you tune in again next week. We've had a blast. But like she said, the conversation, I think when women come together collectively, we are able to share different views, different interests, and tell stories that are relative to us. So Me Too begins with, yes, sexual injustices that are on us, but it also Me Too, my children. My nephew is also in the army. Me Too, my family, the education, my politics. It all involves us, women. We need to talk. And when we talk, come here to Sister Talk TV. I'm Veronica, your host, and Deidre, we love you and hope to see you back soon. Thank you. Sisters, my sisters.
Sister Talk, Sister Talk, Sister. Ooh, Sister Talk.